Tyszowce is one of the oldest settlements in Zamość. It was established at the end of the early Middle Ages. Its gradual development began after the collapse of the ancillary settlement in Czerwień, after taking over its commercial, economic and administrative importance. The first mention of Tyszowce comes from 1388. There is a ravine located in the commune of Czatowczyk. It is a natural loess ravine, even few meters deep tunnel of overhanging steep walls and a flat bottom. There is also a considerable afforestation, and scrub encroachment also exists there. Real excesses of ravine erosion impress an observer during the spring thaws and summer downpours. The ravines can be visited at any time of the year. In spring, when the large sweeps of anemone and hepatica start to bloom. In summer, hiding in the deep shade of loess wool under the green walls of hornbeams and pines. In autumn, admiring leaves changing their colors, or in winter, sheathing on the skies. Furthermore, the commune has a unique, on international scale capital of Czerwieńskie cities in Czerwino, where archaeologists have found valuable jewelry from the turn of the 10th to 13th centuries like rings, earrings, bangles and bracelets of various types. Their presence in Czerwino confirms that in the Middle Ages it was a very important center, which was populated by elites of the time. These treasures have become another argument in favor of the thesis that they are remnants of long sought by archaeologists Czerwień, the most important center of the so-called Czerwieńskie cities. The residents are happy to take a rest in the center of Tyszowce, where they can walk among the trees or find coolness by the fountain. There is also a monument erected in honor of Tyszowce Confederates of 1655. The monument bears engraved in stone puzzling inscription to Tyszowce Confederates and heroes fighting against fascism in the 20th anniversary of PRL. The town is overlooked by a church of the St. Leonard, built in the second half of the 19th century. The biggest beeswax candles can be found only in Tyszowce. They are up to 5 meters in length and are cast from natural beeswax. They are standing in the church on the left of the entrance to the parsonage. The tradition of casting huge candles goes back to the Swedish invasion. In December of 1655, the army of the crown hetmans Stanisław Revery Potocki and Stanisław Lans-Koroński appeared in Tyszowce. On December 29, 1655 hetmans, the army and the nobility formed a confederation to prevent further disasters of the church, as well as of the homeland. The confederates declared themselves on the side of King Jan Kazimierz and pledged to fight the Swedes. It is the famous Częstochowa and small Tyszowce that the signal to the whole country to take the fight against the invaders was sent from. According to local legends, sneaky Swedes wanting to cool the ranks of the Confederates had sent giant candles to the town, which they were going to light up during the Mass in the church. Fortunately, it was discovered that the candles contained dozens of kilograms of gunpowder. The trick did not work, but it gave rise to the tradition of casting candles from beeswax. The commune of Tyszowce also implements projects related to the construction of sports and tourism infrastructure, giving a measurable effect from the standpoint of enabling active relaxation and recreation for children and young people and the local community. We tried to cultivate history and ancient customs, which made Tyszowce popular in Poland and around the world. Shoes from Tyszowce are no longer sewn in the commune, but shoe forms are casted from beeswax according to the design ordered by Jagiełło when he was getting ready to face Teutonic knights at Grunwald battle. In addition to the beautiful history, the Tyszowce commune offers clean air and unspoiled nature, which contributes to the development of agritourism in the area. Huczwa River is full of fish, what attracts anglers from different neighborhoods. Kayaking is also very popular there among tourists. See you on a trail! A little further south lays Łaszów commune. Its origins date back to the 16th century, when King Sigismund Augustus allowed Alexander Łaszcz from Tuchap to exchange his hereditary village of Domanish for the town of Pravda. This town, in turn, a few years later changed its name to Łaszów. Just by the city hall there is a large park, when are the ruins of the Szeptycki Palace. It was built in the first half of the 18th century by Łaszczów family. Initially it was meant to be a Jesuit college, but the building was not completed. Its walls were demolished and converted into a palace. It was destroyed in 1945. Its surrounding area offers a beautiful view of the Łaszczowskie ponds. It's an ecological ground, special protection area for birds as well as protection for wetland wildlife. An intensive fish farming is carried out in the ponds. They are substantially covered with rushes. There exists at least 31 species of birds listed in Annex 1 of the Birds Directive and 3 species of Polish Red Book. Łaszczowskie ponds are a very important mainstay of the Concrake. Łaszczów Center has been completely restored in recent years. Its historical part consists of the Church of the Saint Peter and Paul. The first mention of the church dates back to 1603 years. Then it was a wooden building. The present church was built in the mid-18th century, in 1944, partially destroyed, and a year later renovated. Right next to it there is a building of the former tavern, which was renovated a few years ago. The tavern was built there in the first half of the 19th century and served a socio-economic role. Today there is also, among others, a place to eat. The observation tower, with its spectacular roof and a clock, has also been rebuilt. The square has also been revitalized. There have been planted trees, shrubs, perennials. The sidewalks have been built, paving stones have been changed, and lighting and benches installed. In the background a fountain has been placed. Today it is a popular meeting place for locals. In the northern part of the commune there is a shrine of Our Lady of the Scapular in Nabrusz. In 1411, the heir to Nabrusz, Jan Sumik, and his wife Agnieszka founded the village church, but the shrine was burned down. Later, wooden churches, which were built in 1596 and then in 1671, were also destroyed. Brick church built in 1864 by the foundation of Samuel Łaszcz, Esquire Carver, the owner of Łaszczów and Tuchap, was consecrated by Bishop of Chełm Stanisław Święcicki in 1960. One of the local destinations, because of its unique character, was included in the Natura 2000 program. It's Dobużańska Scarp. The protection is directed towards the xerothermic vegetation. A flowery turf has developed on the steep slopes. The following species can be found here: Anthericum ramosum, Stachys recta, Cartosionorum dianthus, Salvia pratensis, and others. Pontecium maculatum, seen only in few places in Lubelszczyzna, grows also here. A model of one of the villages can be visited in the municipality of Hrubieszów, namely former Stefankowice. There are miniature recreations of typical rural buildings divided into social classes. It's a small part of the thematic village Einstein on the Meadow. It is in the village of the gods in Masłomenj that we can go back into the times of antiquity. Hrubieszów local inhabitants, using the knowledge acquired during 25 years of excavations in the area of Masłomenj and the surrounding area, have decided to present contemporary people with the subject and build this open-air museum. There is, among others, hand-weavers halved gout, blacksmith shop, and a long house. Tour guides give tours around the museum. For more active and demanding people, there are workshops for old crafts, and the team of Gothic warriors shows the technique of fighting with swords and spears. Here, you can also try the good God's kitchen. From the observation tower in Grody, it is possible to watch, among others, swampy depression on the border of Grody and Czumów, covered with clumps of bushes and trees. It's part of an ecological ground, Błonia Nadburzańskie. Undulating meadows with different shades of green, other times big floodplains. When the waters of the brook leave the riverbed, all this gives the impression of traveling on the sea when standing by the barriers of tall scarps of Królewski Kąt. The panorama of this place provides many unforgettable memories. Reconstruction of the Battle of Stefankowice is as part of the historical picnic and concerns Polish-Bolshevik War. It was during this when on September the 5th, 1920, the Battle of Stefankowice took place. The battle occurred when Bolshevik troops retreated after the Battle of Komarovo. Since 2010, in the fields near the park, the reconstruction of the battle takes place always in the first half of September. The Scarecrow village in Moroczyn is a place where children and youth can actively spend their free time through fun in the square, by the local activity center, where fairy tale cottages were set and earth monsters were grown. It is here we can meet a witch or a monster. Attractively spent time is provided by trained personnel, acting in specially sewn fairy tale costumes. Settlement in Grody is one of the oldest in Zamojszczyzna. It is where the castle town of Wolin, formerly part of Czerwieńskie, was located. The castle town was located on a hill surrounded by wetlands, thus constituted a strategic point. Hrubieszów is a Polish town located farthest to the east. It is believed that a Russian fortified castle town existed there, where belonged to the Czerwieńskis. The first mention of Hrubieszów dates back to 1255. It gained municipal rights in 1400. Since 1802, it changed its name to Hrubieszów. In its center, there is a representative promenade, which has recently been put to use. There was once a busy street here. Today, there is a place with benches and a fountain, perfect for walkers. Nearby there is a church of St. Nicholas. The origins of the parish are associated with Dominicans. Their presence in Hrubieszów dates back to the year 1416. when the Bishop of Chełm, Jan of Cholewa, coat of arms, founded a wooden church and monastery buildings for this convent. Currently existing temple, along with the adjacent monastery, was built in the years 1736 till 1766, thanks to the efforts of Castellan of Biecz Józef Kuropatnicki and his wife Teresa Zuzanna of Kurdwanowscy. Across the street, there is an Orthodox Church of the Dominion of the Virgin Mary. The temple was built between 1867 till 1875 on the initiative of the migrant Russian population. In comparison with other Orthodox churches built in the Chełm district in the second half of the 19th century, it is distinguished by its monumentality and the number of domes. It has 13 of them. It is the only Orthodox church with 13 domes in Poland, and one of only 2 in the world. One of the most beautiful buildings in Hrubieszów is Du Château Manor Complex. It was built in 1791 on the site of the former castle. In the mid-19th century, around 1860, the eastern outbuilding was built, and the western outbuilding, modeled on the previous one, was built in 1941. The wings, which were built later, are adjacent to the manor house. The last owner of the manor was Maria Julia of Mazaraki du Château. Currently, the mansion is home to the Regional Museum of F.R. Staszic and Regional Society of Hrubieszów. In the museum, there are exhibitions in the field of archaeology and ethnography. The shrine of Our Lady in Sokol is located in Hrubieszów. Formerly, it was a Unijade Church of St. Nicholas, and the first Orthodox church existed in the place before 1630. The present building was erected in the years 1795 till 1828. The Orthodox Church was reconciliated as a Catholic Church of the Latin Rite in 1918. The church in the 20th century has been completely renovated, now decorated in Baroque Classicism style. The city is also equipped with modern sports infrastructure. Stadium in Hrubieszów is a multifunctional facility that can organize athletics and football competitions. The 8 straight tracks and 6 curved tracks make it the stadium that can hold national competitions. Werbkowice commune is an attractive part of the eastern Poland. Scenic spots, encourage hiking, biking or horseback riding. The palace complex in Werbkowice was presumably built by Adam Szydłowski at the beginning of the 19th century. The palace was surrounded by an English-style large landscaped park. Besides palace, the manor complex consisted of a barn, outbuildings and a royal house. The remaining lime alley running through an extensive lawn located at the front of the palace. There are still beautiful, well-kept oak and ash alleys. A community center and a kindergarten were built in the eastern end of the park. There is also a public square with an amphitheater. It recently passed a general modernization work and has now become the pride of the village. The present church in Werbkowice is a former Catholic church. In 1864, the former owner of the village, Count Antoni Szydłowski, founded a new Unijade church. In 1918, it was reconciliated to the Roman Catholic Church of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary and St. Michael the Archangel. Werbkowice commune is home to MLKS Kryształ Werbkowice Football Club. Its biggest success of recent years is undoubtedly a promotion to the 4th League. Werbkowice Sports Hall, opened in 2006, is available to all the residents and tourists of the commune. The Commune Cultural Center is the main initiator and coordinator of cultural events in the commune. It sustains and nurtures the local heritage and supports local artists. The biggest influence of the development of Werbkowice and the surrounding countryside had the opened in 1963 the most modern sugar factory in Poland, which was then the largest in the country. River Huczwa almost perfectly divides the territory of Werbkowice commune in half. It is a paradise for anglers and canoeists. Many species of birds live in its valley, including kite, lapwing, black-tailed godwit and sandpiper. Landscape in the valley of the river Huczwa is formed by afforestation and areas of meadows and forests. Croft of Vandalowie in Kotorów refers to the cultural heritage left by tribes of Vandalowie in the dominant community of Goths. The cottage contains, among others, furnishings such as beds, pottery, wooden and staves dishes, wicker baskets, textile workbench, leather, swords, bows, arrows, straw mats. Church of St. Peter and Paul in Terebin is a wooden church of carcass construction on a brick foundation with the planking from the 20th century. In the sanctuary from the north side there is a quadrilateral sacristy. Next to the temple porch there is a new porch supported by two pillars. The history of monastery of Turkowice dates back to the 14th century. In 1903, in the place of the 17th century Brazilian monastery, was established an Orthodox female monastery with church council and a wooden Orthodox church.